This week, Vice President Kamala Harris had her town hall event on CNN, and Donald Trump was not happy about it. Now, it's important to remember that this wasn't necessarily supposed to be a Kamala Harris town hall originally. This was initially offered to both candidates as a debate. Donald Trump doesn't want to do debates because he got his butt kicked so badly last time. So Harris said, you know what, I'll do it, which was a great decision. The public needs to see more from her in these primetime settings, and I think she did a decent job. I'm not going to say she knocked it out of the park, but I don't think it was a failure by any stretch. However, there was one point when moderator Anderson Cooper asked her about these comments that the former generals who served with Donald Trump have been saying, calling him a fascist, talking about his admiration of Hitler, and she was asked by Anderson Cooper point blank, do you think Donald Trump's a fascist? And she said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I also believe that the people who know him best on this subject should be trusted. And that's an important part of this. She continues, these were not politicians. These are career people who've served in the highest roles in national security, who've served as generals in our military, who are highly respected, talking about the person who would become commander-in-chief. And by the way, this sentiment that, hey, maybe we ought to listen to the people who know him best, was echoed this week by Alyssa Farah Griffin, who also served in the Trump administration and has spent the years since warning about how dangerous he is. But she mentioned this week, she's like, why are people not listening to the people who know him best? So I'm glad that Harris was able to get this line out. But Trump, on the other hand, was not happy about it. Oh, God, no. He got on Truth Social and let it fly. Here's what he said. Comrade Kamala Harris sees that she is losing, and losing badly, especially after stealing the race from crooked Joe Biden. So now she is increasingly raising her rhetoric, going as far as to call me Adolf Hitler, and anything else that comes to her warped mind. She is a threat to democracy and not fit to be president of the United States, and her polling so indicates. Okay, well, first off, no, the polling does not indicate that. But also, she didn't call you Adolf Hitler. In fact, the person who did call you Adolf Hitler was your running mate. Back in 2016, said you might be America's Hitler. So you're confusing the current vice president with your wannabe vice president. So do you have the same harsh words to say about him? Are you going to come out there and tell us that he has a warped mind and is not fit to serve and is a threat to democracy? No, you're not, because he started kissing your butt a couple years ago, so now you like him. But this was not the first time that day that Donald Trump had gone on an unhinged rant about Kamala Harris. At a speech in Georgia, he had this to say. And again, this was earlier the same day. We are running against the most radical, most incompetent, most unfit vice president in history. No one respects her. No one trusts her. No one takes her seriously. But we are not running against Kamala. She means nothing. She is purely a vessel. We are running against something far bigger and far more powerful than them, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. She means nothing. Dude, she is living rent-free in your head 24/7. She means nothing. Nobody trusts her. Nobody likes her. Nobody respects her. You are wetting your pants every time her name gets mentioned. Every time she attacks you on television or with an ad, you run crying like a little bitty baby to Truth Social to let everybody know that she hurt your little feelings. So for you to sit there at that low-energy rally in Georgia and claim that, this woman is a nothing. Dude, she occupies 100% of the time up here for you. You're not fooling anybody with these attacks. You are terrified of her, which is why you wouldn't sit down and do another debate with her. But that's also not the only freak out Donald Trump had on that day. He also decided to finally take aim at General John Kelly and General Mark Milley for going after him and coming public with his statements where he praised Hitler. And of course, Milley said Donald Trump was fascist to the core. So on Truth Social. Trump attacked Kelly specifically, saying, quote, "Thank you for your support against a total degenerate named John Kelly, who made up a story out of pure Trump derangement syndrome hatred. This guy had two qualities which don't work well together. He was tough and dumb. The problem is his toughness morphed into weakness because he became jello with time. The story about the soldiers was a lie, as are numerous other stories he told. Even though I shouldn't be wasting my time with him, I always feel it's necessary to hit back in pursuit of the truth. John Kelly is a lowlife and a bad general whose advice in the White House I no longer sought and told him to move on. His wife once told me at Camp David, John admires you tremendously, and when he leaves the military, he will only speak well of you. I said, thank you." I love that that's how he ends the post. Like, by the way, I was having a conversation with your wife. She said you loved me and you'd never say anything bad about me. The thing I love about it, one, is like, well, I talked to your wife. Like, you're trying to do that, and it's so dumb and so juvenile. Like, I was waiting for you to pull out the old George Costanza and be like, well, the jerk store called. They're running out of you. That's how pathetic that is. Not to mention the fact that that's something that obviously cannot be verified. So your little idiot followers on Truth Social see that you say that, and they immediately believe it because you said it. They can't verify it, not that they would even if they could. So they think that that is now the reality. And of course, that's the danger of these meltdowns that Donald Trump has. Okay, there is an issue with these posts and with the things that he says during these rallies. Because it doesn't matter how many fact checks get done. It wouldn't even matter if Kelly's wife came out and said that is patently false. It never happened. Because do you know what would happen at that point? His followers would say, she's lying. We don't believe her, we believe him. And I'll give you a good example of why I know that. This week, a Trump ally, I forget who it was, it was Mercedes Schlapp. She posted out there that John Kelly is lying. You know, Trump never said these things about the generals. So I actually went through and looked at all the comments, and nearly all of the comments were people saying, I believe Mercedes. I don't believe John Kelly. So these people, it doesn't matter. They don't care what the former generals have to say. They don't care if it's fact checked and proven to be true, or if something Trump says is proven to be false. They will still say, I choose not to believe it. Because we're not dealing with a political party. We are dealing with a cult. That is why Trump gets away with saying such horrendous things. It plays very well with his base. However, we'll find out in just a few days, really, whether or not it's actually won him over any independent voters, or if he's going to be embarrassed on election night when only his base shows up to support him. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.